Përshëndetje dhe mirë se erdhët në program. Jemi jashtë studios, por jemi edhe jashtë vendit, jemi jashtë ose shumë larg Maqedonisë së Veriut. Në fakt, jemi saktësisht 1952 kilometra larg, jemi në Estoni. Jam në kryeqytetin e Estonisë në Talin. Një vend i largët, Baltik, megjithatë shumë specifik sepse i përngjan në territor, ndoshta jo po në popullsi Maqedonisë së Veriut, megjithatë me specifikat e tij jashtëzakonisht i zhvilluar, një zhvillim ka arritur të bëjë Estonia brenda këtyre 30 vjetëve, megjithatë është në kufi me Rusinë që jep një dinamik dhe një dimension krejt tjetër të qenit evropian apo të qenit pjesë e Bashkimit Evropian dhe NATO-s. Dhe do ta fillojmë këtë intervistë ose këtë program me një intervistë me një nga ekspertët e sigurisë dhe të mbrojtjes. Ai është Dmitri Teperik, është pjesë e disa institucioneve, ndër të tjera edhe Akademia Rinore Ida Viru. Dmitri, thank you very much for doing this interview. It's a very cold weather, maybe the audience do not know it, but it's typical for Estonia. That's why we're going to start this interview by asking you, for those who maybe do not know, how can you present Estonia to people that do not know a lot about history of your country and about the reality right now?
Right. Well, if in short, I would say that Estonia is a Nordic country. So we are located in Northern Europe, and as you can see from the weather, it is cold during the winter. But we are also very much forward and future-looking country. So we would like to be among, let's say, developed countries, not just in Europe but in the world. So we would like to have, let's say, everything digital.
Yes, about that, Estonia is the number one country in the world that is digitalized. What can you say about that to our audience? What does it mean to be totally digitalized?
Well, I think, first of all, it is convenience. I mean, it's very comfortable to do everything which is possible digital, I mean, from online banking, but mostly the state services are also provided digital. So you don't have to spend hours of whatever doing bureaucratic things. It's basically a matter of a few clicks. So it's very convenient.
Basically 99% of services are online.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I heard that next year even divorce can be done online.
Well, that's the last state service which will be digitalized.
And then after that it's going to be 100%.
True.
But being here in Estonia, what we realize as well is you're living near Russia, a country that is at war, and you have a specific sentiment about that. So can you explain why people of Estonia express their anti-Russian sentiment and what is the history behind it?
Right. Well, the history actually is very complicated, and it's, I would say, traumatized, because our collective memory taught us that Russia cannot be trusted, and Russia in any state, is it, let's say, the Soviet Union or the Russian Empire or whatever Putin's Russia is now, it's mostly aggressive and it has imperialistic ambitions. And unfortunately,
but you were saying this a lot, and a lot of European countries didn't take you seriously. How do you think about it?
Well, I think maybe most of the Europeans were too naive. Maybe they believed something which wasn't real. Maybe it was a kind of wishful thinking to be, friends with Russia, and that Russia could be democratic, or maybe one day in the future. But currently, as we see and as we have seen for many, many years, Russia, unfortunately, is imperialistic and is aggressive. And for that reason, of course, we focusing on deterrence, but also on reassurance here in Estonia.
You have here a Russian-speaking minority. Let's clarify that, because it doesn't mean that it is Russians ethnically.
All right.
And how do you deal with that?
Well, this societal group, as we call it, Russian-speaking population, it's very diverse. So there can be ethnically different people. I mean, of course, Russians, but also Ukrainian, Belarusian, Tatars, or children of mixed marriages. But also this group very diverse in socio-political and economical views. So we have really different positions. The only thing which unites them is the language they use at home.
But not necessarily the Russian mentality, but they try to cope and live in Estonia as a normal citizen.
Absolutely, yeah. But, I mean, they, if they are Estonian citizens, they are provided with all the rights and freedoms. So basically everything you have in a free democratic society, regardless of the language or your ethnicity, is here.
Dimitri, thank you very much. Pra, ndoqëm kështu një bisedë të shkurtër me një nga analistët kryesor të vendit për çështje sigurie apo edhe për çështjet e mbrojtjes, Dmitri Teperik. Këtu do të bëjmë një shkëputje dhe do të rikthehemi, por mos u shkëputni sepse do të sjellim një intervistë me një nga parlamentarët e vendit, por edhe pamje ekskluzive nga një nga bazat e NATO-s këtu në Estoni. Na ndiqni. Jemi rikthyer në program direkt, në fakt emisioni regjistrohet, por jemi në qendër të Talinit, të kryeqytetit të Estonisë. Dhe dham një lloj pamje se çfarë nënkupton Estonia sot, por për të kuptuar më fort atë sentimentin anti-rus që ekziston këtu për shkak të historisë apo dhe për shkak të situatës aktuale e gjeopolitike, do t'ju sjell në vijim një intervistë me një nga deputetët e parlamentit estonez. Deputeti është Peeter Teli, antar i Komisionit Parlamentar të Mbrojtjes. Sigurisht ai i jep pasqyrën e përgjithshme të asaj se çdo të thotë të jetosh pranë Rusisë, por unë në fillim e pyeta se, për shembull, pse në Maqedoninë e Veriut do duhet të tremben ose çfarë mund të bënte Rusia edhe në vendet e largta siç janë vendet tona ballkanike.
Kremlin's idea is always to oil every possible conflict. It's the same like Estonia. They were trying to find out different social groups. Doesn't mean ethnics, religions, or different sexes, and just to find cracks and to make from those cracks uncrossable canyons, just to divide. And unfortunately, Russia has been too successful in those undercover operations, and I would say also that depends on those operations which aim is divide our societies, and some of the operations are even led by GRU, which is a Russian General Directorate of Military Intelligence. Yeah, and they do it, and they usually use aktivkas, which is activities. On top of that, subversive leverage, then cyber and information activities. It's just a Russian textbook. What they do.
What will happen if Russia succeeds in their attempts?
I would say this way, that you have to do everything just to make them fail. And you have to explain or what they are afraid of, expose them. If you are exposing them, both ethnic groups, the small one and big ones, Albanians and Macedonians, they will realize that this conflict is in favor of someone else.
What do you make, or what do you think about the visit of Mr. Lavrov in Skopje in an OSCE meeting?
My personal opinion is, of course, that didn't do well, and Comrade Lavrov, he has to be, and I'm not sure that under custody, but first of all, in International Criminal Court Hague, and after that perhaps in jail. And it's not also secret that we have here in Tartu, where is a prison, some war criminals from Balkan wars, and perhaps some Balkan countries are not anxious, but can can take this pardon and keep Comrade Lavrov in their prison. Why not?
What do you think that North Macedonia and other countries in the Balkans can learn from Estonia how to deal with Russia?
You have a much better neighborhood, because you have people who you used to live together with, usually mirror and peace, sometimes not, but still. And our neighborhood is a bit different because we have a border with Russia, and in Western Balkan there is, of course, Serbia, and big question mark is Bosnia and Herzegovina with, let's say, 3 parts or 3 republics. But I think that we can share our experiences and network how to tackle and fight back those hybrid attacks. Because Russia is using everything, as I said, cyber, information, migration, economics, how to deal with that. And if we are sharing our knowledge, know-how, experiences, then we all together, we can fight back it.
You had said previously that Baltics and Balkans are similar according or for the fact that how Russia is dealing with these regions. Why do you think that there is a similarity?
I was talking about anti-NATO narratives, and we studied it in NATO Strategic Communication Center of Excellence in Riga, and surprisingly we found out that those narratives are overlapping, and sometimes there's like a sleeping narratives, and then there's Russian MFA or MOD just woke those narratives up and reuses it, but still pretty similar.
You are a neighbor of Russia, so you know them better. I want to ask you how Russia, or I want to ask you, what do you think, how Russia is doing internationally the damage?
Let's start from general stuff. Russia general stuff has 3 levels. If they are looking to achieve something, strategic level, firstly, in strategic level, they will try to find cracks and to divide international organizations or alliances or unions, like UN, which is, let's say, doesn't work well. Then even European Union, NATO, World Trade Organization, International Olympic Committee, and you just name it, or OSCE, which is, I would say that it's not half dead, but it's barely breathing. It's like a zombie, because it's absolutely blocked, because Russia has been violating every idea of this spirit of Helsinki from 1975. However, what Russia is targeting, 3 pillars of democratic societies is freedom of speech, then democracy, and order of law.
How is Russia influencing freedom of speech?
Freedom of speech, they are targeting free and professional journalism. They are trying to make some things, but to like a journalism, I mentioned it, Sputnik and Russia Today, which is worldwide known, which are not the journals, definitely just the weapon systems, and they are trying to mitigate, to demonize journalists, that someone pays them, they are working only for government, they do not have their own opinion, they are buyable, which is not truth. And unfortunately, what is a game changer, it's a digital landscape which gives a lot of opportunities, let's say, gives a lot of room for maneuver.
Why do you think that Russia is interested in the Balkans when for us it looks that it's so far away? It's not similar like for your country because you're neighbors.
Russia and particularly Putin's regime doesn't stand or just can't see a cooperation, coherence, and security architecture which bases on values of French Revolution, égalité, liberté, fraternité, freedoms. And Russia openly challenges a Western or free democratic way of life and tries to do everything just to divide. And there is another idea that Putin truly believes that he's like a new messiah who has to take back the Russian Empire, which is not just the Soviet Union, but Russian Empire, which includes also, for example, Poland, Finland. I'm not sure about Alaska, but they definitely will find out that it was some fake deal when they sold Alaska to Americans, and they are trying to create troubles around the world, not just Baltics or Balkans, but as well High North, Africa, and Far East, and also Middle East, just to be everywhere.
Why is Estonia immune to Russian propaganda?
Estonians, yes, but Russian speakers, not all of them. But why Estonians are immune, our journalists have been a professional. The Russian propaganda and attempts just to exploit those anti-democratic narratives, they have been always exposed. And also Estonian Special Services has been also quite efficient, I would say. Always you can perform better, but they have been quite efficient. And also, which is important, our educational system, the media literacy, it's a part of curriculum in our schools, not just in high schools, but also in elementary schools.
Mr. Zelensky has said that the next front of Russia is going to be the Balkans. What do you think about this idea?
To create trouble, and the best way to do it, from my assessment, is to start from Bosnia, to use this gentleman, what was his name, Mr. Dodik, yeah? Yeah. To start from Bosnia with, from this Republika Srpska, yeah? Just to try to divide it, is Dayton Agreement, and then of course influence also just smaller Western Balkan countries. And other thing what they are trying to do, they are trying to create disinformation campaigns in your social media. They definitely will.
How big the danger can be?
We have been independent again after this long Soviet occupation, which lost 5 decades. We have been independent again more than 30 years, and I won't say that we feel ourselves too dangerous here. However, we are neighbors. You have to live with that, and you have to work daily basis. I don't know, hard. Perhaps you have to work hard just to keep your coherence of your society. It doesn't matter do they speak in Russian or in Estonia or in Turkish, but one recommendation more. If you see that someone talks, because we have freedom of speech and everything can express whatever he wants, even parliamentarians here in main hall. It was just a joke, but of course this is a place when you can tell everything, and sometimes, unfortunately, even you can lie, and nothing could be done with you. But if someone permanently attacks your values, which are usually written down in preamble of constitution, it means that someone really targets you. And then you have to be really cautious and act sharply and to be very confident to protect your values, because our societies are standing on democratic values. This is the thing what we have to do, freedom.
Is the NATO membership for North Macedonia and Montenegro and other countries in the Balkans a guarantee for their security?
Proxy war, no. Conventional military conflict, absolutely yes. Because NATO will stand for all and for every country. It's like a principle of musketeers. One for all for one. Yeah, because otherwise this NATO collapses, and we as a NATO members, we cannot allow it for us. Yeah, because NATO, entire history of NATO has been a great success. 70 decades of peace and prosperity in NATO terrain. No one dared to attack NATO, and no NATO members attacks us. But yeah, information operation, informational warfare, proxy wars, they might try. But we stand together.
Do you have any prediction about the war in Ukraine?
Yeah, I'm just a colonel in reserve. I'm not wizard. I don't know. And I do not attend staff meetings of Valery Saluzhny or Valery Gerasimov. I do not know their plans. But what I see from here, from peaceful Talin, that Ukrainians, they have to win. Yeah, because if they will lose, the Russia continues to attack their neighbors. And how it goes, I really don't know. But I see that Ukrainians, they have enough will to fight, and the spirit is still strong, but they are too dependent from Western countries' military aid. And we have to explain daily basis to our friends from other parliaments that we have to support Ukrainians as we can, because they are fighting for our freedom as well, not just for Ukraine, but for our freedom as well.
What do you think will happen globally if Mr. Trump wins the US elections?
I'm not sure that who will win US presidentials. It might be Trump, might be Biden, might be someone else, but yeah, I'm sure that NATO will not just will remain as it is, but will be more efficient. But the countries, they have to wake up and start their defense. One thing is defense spending, but also defense industry to produce even those 150 millimeters shells. And we see that Putin's Russia somehow started these waves of violence. Ukraine, Karabakh, then Middle East, Hamas, Gaza sector, Israel. Now there is Venezuela looks like is going to attack Guyana. Some Chinese, hundreds of ships in southern Chinese Sea near the Indonesia, and finally South Korea and North Korea. It's not a joke at all. We have to somehow try to stop it. How to get it, to put this violence back to, I don't know where, to Kremlin or whatever.
Thank you very much. Jemi rikthyer në program në pjesën e tretë dhe të fundit. Do t'ju sjellim pas pak disa materiale nga një bazë ushtarake këtu në Estoni, pranë Talinit, pra kryeqytetit estonez. Baza quhet Tapa dhe unë aty pata mundësinë të takohem me ushtar amerikan dhe estonez. U munduam dhe regjistruam disa nga stërvitjet, pam disa nga makineritë e NATO-s, që tregon rëndësinë e të qenurit pjesë e Aleancës Veriatlantike, por gjithashtu pranë kësaj baze bëra edhe një intervistë me Edrward P, i njohur në vendet tona, i cili është pjesë e shkollës së studimeve të avancuara ndërkombëtare pranë John Hopkins University. Propozoj të ndjekim materialin. Tani jemi brenda bazës që quhet Tapa, pra që është baza ushtarake në Estoni, afër Talinit, një nga më të rëndësishmet, por arsyeja pse jemi këtu është për të treguar se sa në fakt është modernizuar ushtria estoneze. Baza më përpara ka qenë një bazë sovjetike, por sot është një bazë tejet moderne, dhe tejet e rëndësishme për NATO-n. Sigurisht detaje të armatimeve nuk mund të jepen shumë, megjithatë nga ajo çfarë shohim është se në fakt duke qenë pjesë e NATO-s, ushtria ka përparuar shumë. Kjo ka dhe një rëndësi të madhe këtu, sepse sentimenti i përgjithshëm në Estoni është jashtëzakonisht kundër Rusisë për shkak të historisë, për shkak edhe të gjithë frikave, por sidomos për shkak të luftës që ndodh në Ukrainë. Prandaj misionet e tilla, si ajo e ushtrisë amerikane për të stërvitur ushtarët estonez, jashtëzakonisht të rëndësishme.
So it's 1st Infantry Brigade base, where we have altogether 3,000 personnel. We have 4 different battalions plus multinational battle group, EFP battle group. So the main task for Estonian Infantry Brigade and all the other units within the Estonian Defense Forces is be ready to defend Estonia if needed. And during peacetime, we are training to defend, and by that we are making the deterrence. So in the year 2016, representatives of NATO countries decided that Enhanced Forward Presence Battle Group will start to serve in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Poland. Since the year 2017, we have our own EFP battle group here in Tapa camp, which is fully integrated into 1st Infantry Brigade. They are acting under 1st Infantry Brigade commander, and they are integrated in our defense plans as well. The leading nation for the battle group is Great Britain, and participation nation is France. After the war started in Ukraine in the year 2022, USA sent additional troops to Estonia, which is HIMARS rocket unit. During peacetime, our own all-together purpose is to deter, to show that we bite if you bite. So this is our goal during the peacetime. But as Estonia is going to get our own HIMARS systems in the year 2025, so the Americans help us to learn the systems already now, but we don't have the systems yet.
Why it's important that American soldiers train Estonian soldiers, but not only in this base in Estonia?
This is tremendously important. Our visit here to this very cold spot where Americans, British, French, and Estonians are all together here in this base demonstrating collective resolve against Russian aggression. And the presence of the American unit that we met this morning here has crucial significance because the artillery that they possess, this HIMARS, using this advanced munitions, this ATACMS, this is one of the most powerful deterrents to any type of potential Russian aggression here in Estonia. And we know, of course, how effective that artillery is in Russia. We learned today, the range, incredible. 300 kilometers of range with an accuracy within 10 meters. This is a tremendous message to Vladimir Putin to keep his hands off Estonia.
So, when we make a comparison to Balkan countries, what can they see in cases like this? Because what we are seeing right now is modernization of the Estonian army, but also security. People feel secure because they are part of NATO. How this can be resembled in the Balkans?
Well, first we have the example of the incredible success of Estonia, which was part of the Soviet Union, hard communism, poor country, that has now advanced to be one of the most modern countries in the world with a developed, balanced economy. So first, this is a demonstration of the proof of the Western model. Estonians, we learned today, their education system is the top, #1 in Europe. So this is the proof of the Western model and exactly what Russians want to deny to Ukraine, that ability to choose to follow the same path for Ukraine that Estonia took. So that's #1. #2 is we've learned here about the ways, not just with weapons like this, that Estonia deters Russia, but with in the media sphere, with the resilience against disinformation, resilience against cyber attacks, things that are active threats to stability in the Balkans, in North Macedonia, in Montenegro, and throughout the region, coming from Russia and, of course, also amplified in Serbia.
So what would you say to the skeptics in the Balkan region when they ally with Russian propaganda, or maybe when they amplify voices that probably are not pro-Western in the Balkans, and we see this time after time?
Yes, it's to me it's something I cannot understand. Anyone here, and you know, this is a country, we're here in Estonia, not far from the border with Russia. They apparently have, we learned last night, they have a billboard just across the border in Russia that says there are no borders for Russia. Who would want to ally with a failed state like Russia? I cannot understand at all in the Balkans why there is any affinity for a country like Russia, not only that aggresses its neighbors, but is a complete failure. And the best it can do in Ukraine is to try to achieve some kind of a standoff against a far smaller but a much more determined country like Ukraine.
And in the end, politicians are not helping, because if the people of the Balkans, of North Macedonia, want the integration, of course North Macedonia is part of NATO now, but EU and to advance in that integration, politicians are not helping. As we know, as we hear, they are corrupted, or they are put in a blacklist, as it said, from America, from US. So what would be the message to the politicians that are not serious or not taking serious all the situations?
Well, your question, in fact, aligns, because the answer to the corruption issue is the European Union integration. This is where the reforms come, and this is the one encouraging thing that I see in North Macedonia, is at least the government, for all that it has failed to do to curb corruption, is at least absolutely committed to going in the European Union path, which is the way to develop rule of law. It's accepting the reforms. What we don't see is we see none of this commitment in Serbia. We see none of this commitment to join the European Union. It's only lip service, some talk, blah, blah, that, oh yes, we want to join the European Union, but in fact the actions show alignment with Russia amplifying pro-Russian narratives, a authoritarian type of democracy, this illiberal democracy like in Hungary following the Orban path. This is what we see in Serbia. So they're having elections, but elections that everyone knows the result ahead of time.
So, and this is the last question, how then, or what should be done so that people cannot get disappointed? Because when they see that the politicians are not doing their job, they are corrupted, and then the support for integration is somehow falling down.
Well, this is something that this is where you look for opposition. So when the government fails, you look to opposition to replace them. In the case of North Macedonia, people have to decide, do they believe that that opposition is any better? So that's where the challenge comes, if the options are no better from the present. But the point is that failure in North Macedonia of the government to tackle corruption, I'm still hoping there's still time in the mandate of the government. I'm hoping that they will take some steps. I'm hoping that they will reverse some steps, like this change to this criminal code. I'm hoping that the government will make a gesture to the citizens. In my view, a very smart political gesture would be to reverse this terribly mistaken decision to change the criminal code and basically give some type of amnesty to corrupt officials that everyone has condemned, from European Commission, NGOs in North Macedonia. Everyone has condemned this, and I think the best move, the smartest political pre-election move, could be reverse this decision and take the signal from the United States about this blacklist and see that there's no way forward for these corrupt politicians to be welcomed in Western society.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Pra, ishte I gjitha ky material që ju solla kësaj radhe nga Estonia, nga Talini, nga kryeqyteti estonez, me iden për të dhënë një pasqyrë krejt tjetër të gjeopolitikës dhe çdo të thotë të jesh pranë Rusisë, por edhe për të kuptuar mirë këtë vend me popullsi 1.3 milionëshe, I cili sipas PIS-s, nxënësit e këtij vendi kanë dalë të parët në Europë, të katërtit në botë, I cili vend është 99% I digitalizuar dhe sigurisht që për të cilin vend demokracia është shumë e rëndësishme. Bashkë do takohemi sërish javën që vjen, deri atëherë, mirupafshim.